You killed your dad and your killer ex is back in your life. God, what a cursed woman you are, shouted my mom. No, I didn't. My denial screamed in my head, but years of blame had worn me down. Could she be right? But how could I keep fighting this blame? Especially now when the person she believes is the reason for the death, Derek, my ex, is back after years and wants to marry me. As she kept accusing me, my mind went straight back to graduation night 7 years ago. He broke things off and simply vanished, leaving me alone and wounded. It was then that I decided I would find a stable man and lead a simple life. I was fortunate to find Norman, who is now my everything. I am Emma. I was leading a beautiful life with Norman until my toxic ex came back and ruined it. Derek, it all again started with this high school reunion. I avoided anything that might stir up memories of those 3 years, but it was fate that I decided to go to this event. Just as I was getting comfortable with being at the reunion, the doors of the private room opened again. Everyone stood up immediately, looking towards the entrance. Derek. I was completely stunned. Then Kate Brown, my old high school nemesis, purposely asked loudly, "Oh yeah, Emma, I heard that you were getting married soon." The entire room seemed to fall silent. I was trying to keep my voice steady. Not yet. Our families are still discussing it, but I will notify everyone once we decide on a date. Derek finally spoke directly to me for the first time since his return. You are getting married? I could only nod. Oh, congratulations, he said. There was a smile on his face, but his eyes remained icy cold. Thank you, I replied politely. I couldn't take it anymore. Smiling awkwardly, I stood up. Excuse me, I need to use the washroom. Walking out into the hotel corridor, I leaned against the wall, breathing heavily. Suddenly, a large hand shot out, pushing me hard against the wall. Before I could even register what was happening, those icy lips crashed down onto mine. A foreign yet terrifyingly familiar presence. My brain short-circuited. Before I had the chance, the strength, the will to push him away, he suddenly let go. His voice was a low murmur. Emma, I'm back. I trembled, speechless. I don't even remember how I got away from him, how I fumbled my way out of the hotel. I got into a taxi. It was close to 11 when I got back to the apartment I shared with Norman. It felt almost like home, especially with Norman there. We'd been together a long time. Norman hadn't gotten off his night shift yet. Just then my phone rang again, an unfamiliar number. Hesitantly, I answered. Hello? Silence. Hello? Who is this? I'm hanging up the phone if you're not going to say anything. Maybe a wrong number? Just as I was about to hang up, a familiar voice sent a chill down my spine. Why are you avoiding me? Derek. My voice shook. Derek? He repeated the question, relentless. Why are you avoiding me, Derek? Can you stop this nonsense? I pleaded, my voice trembling. We broke up 7 years ago. He cut me off, his voice flat, leaving no room for argument. I'm downstairs. And then he hung up. Downstairs? How did he know my address? Panic flared. What if Norman came home early? What would happen? After a moment of paralyzing hesitation, I unwillingly made my way downstairs. And there he was, the picture of effortless wealth and power. He looked up as I approached, his gaze intense. I glared at him, trying to muster some strength. Derek, what do you want? He gazed at me without blinking. Emma, he said softly, almost wistfully, you're still the same as before. You haven't changed a bit. A bitter smile touched my lips. You're wrong. People do change. Derek, regardless of what you're after, I hope that you can let go of the past. I'm tired, and I don't want trouble anymore. Plus, we both have our own lives now, so could you please stop acting so crazily? I'm not crazy, he insisted. Then why are you doing this? I scoffed. Just to reminisce with me? His eyes sparkled. Emma, marry me. I almost lost my mind. Marry him? Derek, stop it, my voice sounded hoarse. We're not children anymore. I'm not joking around, he reiterated, his gaze fixed on my face. So you're just messing with my emotions? Are you enjoying yourself? I laughed dryly, despair creeping into my voice. I'm not. So you're telling me that you're serious? He didn't hesitate. Emma, let's get married. Derek, listen to me, I said, trying to keep my voice firm. I am getting married, but not to you. You need to stop living in a fantasy because it's never going to happen between us. Don't you remember me saying that, even if all the men on this planet die, I'm still not going to get back together with you? You might not know this, but you're the only person I've ever hated. You hurt me and almost destroyed me, but you'll never understand how I felt because you're not me. You never lived through the nightmare that I have. So please, we each have our own lives now. And I have a boyfriend who loves me more than anything in this world. Just leave. I never want to see you again. To me, you're just a spell that can never be broken, so I would rather go on with my life without you in it. I thought I'd made myself crystal clear. I turned to head back inside, desperate to escape his suffocating presence. But suddenly he grabbed my arm. Let go of me. Derek, what else do you want from me? Before I could finish, he pulled me hard into his embrace. My head smashed against his broad chest. I could smell the light, expensive scent of Versace cologne on his crisp white shirt. For one treacherous second, being in his arms felt overwhelmingly comfortable, achingly familiar. Tears welled up as memories flashed. Moments of intense connection. Moments I thought I'd buried forever. Emma, are you crazy? I cursed myself internally. Don't you remember what this man did, what his family did? He's the devil. You're about to marry Norman. The thought of Norman snapped me back to reality. Derek, let go of me, you asshole, I threatened, struggling against his hold. Or else I'm going to scream for help. He didn't seem to hear me, tightening his arms, holding me as if he'd found a lost treasure he refused to relinquish. He wasn't a man of many words, but his actions screamed possession. He seemed content just to hold me, as if that settled everything. As if 7 years of silence and pain could be erased by sheer proximity. As if no one could ever break us up again. Just then, a familiar voice cut through the night air behind me. What are you doing, Norman? My blood ran cold. I turned, startled. He stood not far behind us, clearly just off his night shift. In his hand were my favorite snacks, grilled corn and an iced cola. My mind finally snapped fully back into focus. Shoving Derek away with all my might, I rushed towards Norman, desperate to explain. Norman, it's not what it looks like. Please don't misunderstand. Let me explain, all right? Fine. I'm listening. Explain, he said, surprisingly calm, his gaze shifting from me to Derek, who stood behind me, radiating possessiveness. Norman's eyes filled with animosity. He knew me well, I thought. He knew I wasn't the type to mess around. He trusted me, didn't he? But before I could formulate the words, figure out how to explain the inexplicable reappearance of my past, Derek opened his mouth, his voice cutting through my frantic thoughts. Emma is mine. My head felt like it was about to explode. This couldn't be happening. It was like some sick, cliché cosmic joke. The familiar tenderness drained from Norman's eyes, replaced by an icy chill. I rounded on Derek, finally enraged. Derek, what the hell are you talking about? Norman ignored him, his gaze fixed on me, his voice grim. Emma, first you tell me. Just who is he, Norman? Listen to me, I pleaded, my voice wavering. He's just my high school classmate. Technically, it wasn't a lie. He was my classmate for 3 years, but it was a truth designed to hide a much larger, more dangerous one. Derek laughed cruelly, a haughty smile tugging at his lips. Emma, we were more than just classmates, weren't we? Why don't you tell him how we just kissed in the hotel bathroom? Norman's expression darkened. His whole body seemed to go numb. I struggled to correct Derek's twisted version of the truth, the forced kiss in the hallway. Emma, don't lie, Derek purred, reaching out, sweeping his forefinger across my lips in an intimate, provocative gesture that made my skin crawl. You can't lie about this when my scent is still on your lips. He glanced over at Norman again, enjoying the torture. You are Emma's boyfriend, but has she ever told you about her past? He asked conversationally. What, you didn't know? Hasn't she ever mentioned that 7 years ago there was a man she loved deeply? That person was me, he finished, enunciating each word with deliberate cruelty. The old wound in my chest ripped open again, slow, excruciating. Norman's voice was cold, stripped of all warmth. Emma, tell me, is what he said true? Usually I was composed. But anything touching on 7 years ago scrambled my mind, made it hard to even form words. Derek's tone was overbearing, relentless. Emma, you're not a liar, so why lie to him? You should tell him everything that happened between us back then. Norman stepped towards me, his eyes nearly murderous. Emma, let me ask you this. He's your ex-boyfriend, right? Did he or did he not just touch you? Did he kiss you? Well, he and I had been together for a while, but we'd never gone all the way. I was traditional, and he, planning marriage, had respected that. Now, hearing that the goddess he thought he worshipped had been tainted, rage surged through him. I didn't want to lie. I'd been kissed against my will, but telling him that now would only deepen the misunderstanding. Just as I struggled for the right words, Derek delivered the final blow, his voice like the devil himself. "Looks like you didn't know that we slept together 7 years ago either." The words hit me like a bomb, shattering what little remained of my senses. I never thought he'd bring that up, so nonchalantly. Had 7 years turned him into someone completely unrecognizable? "Derek," I stammered, stunned, "when did you become so shameless?" Norman roared, eyes red, grabbing Derek's collar, tossing aside the corn and cola. "You bastard! What did you say?" A smile tugged at Derek's lips as he glanced at me. "Looks like you two haven't gotten that far yet. It seems like Emma doesn't actually like you that much. Heh. Asshole. What did you say? I'm going to fucking kill you." Norman hurled his fist at Derek's face. Derek dodged easily. Norman charged again, landing a punch this time. Derek stumbled back, wiping a smudge of blood from his lip, his voice turning cold. "I'll take this punch since you've been taking care of Emma for me for the last few years. But you're not going to get another chance." "All right, then hit me back." Norman was nearly mad with rage. "Come on, asshole. What gives you the right to treat Emma like that? Even if you are her ex, it's all in the past. Why the hell did you come back looking for her?" His mind had clearly shattered hearing about 7 years ago. 18. She was just a kid. No man could withstand that. Ignoring Derek's warning, he charged again like a crazed beast. This time Derek didn't dodge. He met Norman's charge with a swift punch to the face, sending Norman crashing to the ground. "Norman, are you all right?" Terrified, I ran over, trying to help him up, but he shoved me away forcefully, nearly sending me sprawling. "Get lost, it's none of your business," he spat, his voice thick with pain and fury. "You immoral woman, don't touch me, you make me sick." Tears streamed down my face. I shook my head, hurt beyond words. "I didn't, Norman, I didn't betray you. Please believe me. Those were all things that happened in the past. It's already over between him and me." He mocked me, wiping blood from his lip. "Believe you? About what? That you're still a virgin?" I looked down, unable to answer. "Why aren't you saying anything? Is he wrong? You're not going to tell me that you're still untouched, are you?" His gaze was full of disdain. My voice broke. "No, he's right. I was with him 7 years ago. But it's all in the past now. Norman, would you let me explain? I'll tell you everything that happened between us. Pa!" The sharp sound echoed in the night air as his hand struck my left cheek. Hard. A burning pain surged, but the emotional blow was worse. Beside us, I saw Derek's pupils contract sharply. A flicker of something, heartbreak deep in his eyes. I reached out again to help Norman, but he pushed me away violently. "Emma," he snarled, his voice dripping with contempt. "I thought you were a decent girl, someone I could grow old with. I truly wanted to marry you and build a life together. I never thought that you'd be one of those tramps. I must have been blind. To think that I spent so much time courting you in college, not daring to touch you like you were some kind of goddess. I've got to be fucking blind." He laughed, a harsh, broken sound. "You fucking played me, bitch." "Norman," I pleaded, stumbling to my feet. "You can hit me or curse at me all you like. None of that's important. You're hurt. Let's go to the hospital first, all right?" He shoved me again. "Don't touch me, Emma. Get your filthy hands off me. You're not taking me anywhere. Get lost. I never want to see you again. Get out of here." Finishing his bellowing rant, he crawled up from the ground like an injured animal and took off into the darkness. I stood there, sobbing silently. Why had things turned out like this? Hadn't fate tormented me enough? Hadn't I paid the price over and over for what happened 7 years ago? Why force me like this? Why couldn't I just live like a normal person? All I wanted was an ordinary life. Nothing more. Then, his voice again from behind me. "Derek," nearly relentless. Not a plea, not a discussion, an order. "Emma, come back to me. Marry me." I knew that tone. The Holmes family power. Privileged from birth, virtual gods in this city, doing whatever they wanted. 7 years ago, I'd learned that the hard way, paid brutally for my mistakes. It seemed that, like for me, it wasn't over for Derek either. I don't remember how I got home that night. I sat alone in the darkness for a long time, the whole event feeling unreal, like a terrible dream. Only the lingering throb on my cheek, the mark Norman's hand left, assured me it was real. My carefully constructed life, My ordinary future had been blown apart in a matter of hours. Derek's return had shaken everything into disarray. I tried calling Norman. His phone was off, of course it was. The incident was too sudden, too cruel for him. It was my past, but he was stuck paying the price. Who was to blame? Me? Derek? Fate? In the dark, I sighed softly. The next morning felt heavy, gray. I got up early, mechanically made some pork bone soup. Norman's favorite, hoping maybe I could still salvage something. I went to the hospital, to the outpatient ophthalmology department. When I walked in, my heart sank. Norman was there, sitting on an examination chair, and Stella, one of the other nurses, was carefully bandaging a wound on his forehead, likely from his fall during the fight. Her voice was artificially high-pitched, grating. "Geez, how did this happen, doctor? How can you be so careless?" "Norman?" I called out softly from the doorway. Both turned. Norman's expression was blank, unreadable, as his gaze fell on me. Stella smiled brightly. "Ah, Emma, you're here. You two go on and chat, I'll leave." "Don't go," Norman said suddenly, reaching out, grabbing Stella's arm. "Finish patching up my wound." Stella chuckled awkwardly. "Doctor, you should really let your girlfriend tend to you." Before I could say anything, Norman spat out the words cold and deliberate. "She is not my girlfriend anymore." My breath caught. "What did you say?" I frowned slightly. "I said we broke up yesterday," he repeated, his tone petulant, almost childishly cruel. "You're not my girlfriend anymore, and I'm not worthy of an upper-class girlfriend like you. So why don't you go find your super-rich ex-boyfriend? He has luxury cars and a mansion, and I'm just a poor doctor. You would be doing yourself a disservice if you continued to stay with me." I took a deep breath, trying to remain calm despite the insult. "Norman, I came here today to explain what happened last night." He laughed, a hollow sound. "Ha-ha? Explain? What do you have left to explain?" His attitude was so cold, so distant. This wasn't the sweet, caring man I thought I knew. "Norman," I tried again, "we've been together for 3 years. Don't you know me?" He looked up, a twisted smile on his face. "I really don't, darling. If it weren't for last night, I really would have thought that you were a pure goddess who I could love and care for. Who would have known that the goddess I thought you were was just a facade? You already slept with someone 7 years ago. How old were you back then? 18? Emma, I finally see how shameless you are. No wonder you chose to date me." It seems like I was getting someone else's leftovers. The word hung there, ugly and sharp. Even Stella looked shocked. I felt more disappointed than hurt, that such insidious words could come from the mouth of someone who looked so gentle. "Norman," I said slowly, looking him straight in the eye, "everyone has a past. What happened between me and Derek is already history." "Shut up," he interrupted fiercely. "Stop showing off your ex-boyfriend. I find him disgusting. Who does he think he is? Does driving an Audi R8 make him cool? If you like him so much, why don't you go and make up with him and leave me alone?" His anger was irrational, fueled by hurt pride and shock. "Norman," I said quietly, "you may not be calm right now, and I know that you are angry. When people are angry, they make irrational decisions and end up regretting it. I'll give you time to calm down and we can talk later." I turned and left, unable to bear another minute in that room. Behind me, I could almost feel Norman's distress, his shattered pride warring with whatever feelings he still had for me. The rest of the day at work was a blur. I was listless, distracted. My mind wasn't even on Norman, not really. It was on him. Was he really back? Was last night real? When my shift finally ended, I changed out of my uniform into a simple pastel blue dress. Walking out of the hospital entrance, I saw Norman's white car, the one his parents helped buy just last month for our impending marriage. The license plate 0510, his birthday. It was him. Waiting? Maybe he wanted to talk after all? Just as I was about to walk over, Stella, now wearing a miniskirt, sprinted towards the car, opened the passenger door and hopped in. The car sped off immediately. The light seemed to drain from the sky, mirroring my mood. I pulled out my phone, dialed his number. He answered, sounding annoyed. "What is it? Is your shift over?" I asked, keeping my voice even. "I need a ride home." "Not yet," he lied smoothly. "I have another surgery. I'll be working overtime, so you can go home first. Don't call me for no reason." "Bye." He hung up. I smiled wryly. Revenge. Low, pathetic revenge. The ordinary man I dated for 3 years, maybe he wasn't so ordinary after all. Maybe I just wanted him to be. Just then, Laura called. Emma, are you off work now? Yeah, come to my place. I'm off today and made something yummy for you. It's marinated pork trotters. That's good, I managed, trying to sound cheerful. I happen to be hungry too. Wait for me. It seemed Laura's rented apartment near the airport was the only place I could go now, besides home and the hospital. Setting the steaming pork trotters on the table, Laura didn't even give me a chance to eat before launching into questions about the reunion, about Derek, about Norman. Unable to bear the bombardment, I recounted the events, keeping the most provocative details, like the forced kiss, vague. That's what happened, I finished, looking at her with big wet doe eyes, trying for cute. You're welcome to comment, Miss Laura. Laura stared back, surprised. Gosh, that's intense. So what you're saying is Mr. Blue Blood Derek proposed to you yesterday? Girl, please, I complained, pushing the trotters around my plate. That's not the issue here. The issue is that Norman doesn't trust me anymore and wants to break up. Laura leaned forward, her expression dead serious. Emma, tell me the truth. Do you still love Derek? I froze. Love? Did I still love the boy who broke my heart, whose family ripped my world apart? Did I love the man who reappeared after 7 years only to cause more chaos? I turned to look out the window, the city lights blurring through unshed tears. What does it matter if I love him or not? I finally responded, my voice heavy with melancholy. Things happened. There's no taking them back, and there's no changing how things turned out. Laura's voice softened with sympathy. Emma, when we were in high school, the fact that you and Derek got together was what made me believe that fairy tales can be real. You were both such outstanding people. How did it ever get to where it is today? It's such a pity. She hesitated, then plunged ahead. I'm going to say something, but you can't get mad. I've always felt like Norman wasn't good enough for you. I mean, back in school you were… Laura, stop, I cut her short. It's all in the past. No matter how I feel about Derek, there's no way we can ever be together again. You know what happened, that incident 7 years ago, and what it did to me. I've already lost my family. What could be worse than that? I really wish that I was the one who died back then. My voice caught in my throat. Laura knew. She knew that incident was what made me hide away my own light, resign myself to being just… ordinary. She put a comforting hand on my shoulder. Emma, listen to me. It's been so long, so stop blaming yourself. Haven't you been trying to make up for it all these years? I don't think you can place all the blame on Derek either. You know very well that he had been out of the country for years. Considering how he felt about you, I don't think there's any way he could have known about what happened. So what? My eyes were red as I turned back to her. He's still a member of the Holmes family, isn't he? Can he really shake off all the blame for what his family did? Emma, Laura started, but I raised a hand. Laura, you don't have to say anything else. You're my best friend. And I know that you're just telling me what you think is best for me, but you can't possibly understand the things I've experienced. Let me make up my own mind about this, okay? All right, she sighed. I just hope that whatever you decide, you don't wrong yourself. I've seen how hard the past few years have been for you. I really wish that you could return to being the high and mighty Emma from before, the one who wouldn't let anyone else influence her. I smiled bitterly but didn't reply. The pork trotters remained untouched. The heavy subject of Derek had stolen my appetite. I left Laura's soon after, the conversation weighing on me. It was on the way back, wondering if I should try calling Norman again. Then Eric's panicked call came about Mom collapsing. Rushing to the Fourth People's Hospital, finding her pale and unconscious, the oxygen mask covering her face. Fear gripped me. Eric, my sweet younger brother, looking so worried, explained how our neighbor found her fainted outside her convenience store. How could this happen? Mom was always fairly healthy. Then the doctor pulled me aside. You're the patient's daughter, right? He asked, his tone harsh. Were you aware that the patient suffers from high blood pressure? I know, I stammered, but she's been taking her medications. Her pressure was stable. Our guess, the doctor stated grimly, is that the patient suffered from some kind of shock, resulting in heightened blood pressure. As her children, you really need to be more careful. The patient has heart problems on top of high blood pressure. If this keeps happening, it'll cost the patient her life, do you understand? Shock? What shock? Eric was a good kid. What else? When the patient wakes up, the doctor continued, you can ask her yourself. We recommend that she stay at the hospital for a week to regulate her blood pressure. What do you think? Not a problem, I agreed immediately. As a nurse, I knew how serious this was. Okay, you can go pay the hospitalization fees now. Downstairs at the cashier, the amount stunned me. The total comes to $7,908. $7,000? Over the past few years, half my earnings went to Eric, the other half to the down payment for the house with Norman. I only had $3,000 left in my account. The cashier was impatient. Are you paying or not? Hurry up, there are people behind you. I'll pay, I said quickly, pulling out the credit card I barely used. Thank God its limit was $10,000. Returning to the room, Mom was awake. And furious. Her outburst, blaming me, calling me an accursed thing, linking Uncle Johnson's death to me, confirming Derek's visit and his offer of compensation. It all came tumbling out, explaining the doctor's diagnosis of shock. It explained everything, and it broke me all over again. Derek hadn't just returned to disrupt my life. He'd gone straight for the heart of my family's deepest wound. I had to confront him. I found his number in my call history, that unfamiliar number ending in 8,866. After a moment's hesitation, fueled by anger and despair, I called. As soon as it connected, I didn't hold back. Hey, Derek. What in the world do you want from me? What does Derek truly want from me? From my broken family? Can his money, his power really make up for a life lost, for years of grief and guilt? And how can I possibly survive this, caught between his relentless pursuit and my own mother's condemnation? Am I truly the accursed thing she believes me to be? Wondering what happens next? Download the Pocket FM app now and dive into the thrilling episodes of When Heart Comes Calling.